Never has the challenge of solid leadership been more apparent than in the travel and tourism industry, particularly in the last few years. Talk about pivoting. Well, with me today is someone who has been leading the charge in the travel and tourism industry for 45 years. Jani Miller is here with me from Central Travel to talk more about the industry ebbs and flows. Jani, it's great to be with you.
Thank you. Great to be here.
So you have seen so much through the 45 years you've been in the industry. Can you believe it's been that long?
No, I can't.
Now, when we talk about sales and revenue in the travel and tourism business, what is it in terms of the global markets, if you will, that really have to fall in line for things to be running smoothly and be successful in this business?
It's driven by the economy, hands down by the economy. And when there's supply, there's demand. And so things are coming back. We're getting really, really excited. It was a rough few years with COVID.
As a consumer myself in the travel industry, I marvel at the fact that you worked through so many issues and were successful, and here we are, post-pandemic. How did you navigate some of those ebbs and flows, and what do you do when the high highs turn into those really difficult times, such as the pandemic?
You just have to have a plan, and you have to be prepared. You know, I've lived through everything: deregulation, Gulf War, 9/11, the recession, commission cuts, commission caps, and then COVID. Now you've got a worldwide issue, but you have to have a plan and you have to have cash reserves. It's pretty simple. When you have great years, you tuck some of that money aside. You save it for a rainy day.
When you talk about travel, then you talk about air travel. What about trains? Are trains popular? Boats, cruises?
Yes, the cruise industry is definitely back. River cruises, huge river cruises, ocean cruises, a bunch of new builds out there, and expedition ships. You've got expedition ships all over the world. Antarctica, the Arctic, Galapagos, but now we've got really sophisticated hardware. So you can go out and you can snorkel with the sea lions and then come back and have this thread count that's unbelievable in your bed. That's really cool. Train travel in Europe is huge, not so much in the US.
Mm-hmm. How has consumer demand changed through the years?
Early on, all they wanted was somebody to book their travel. Mm-hmm. Book my airline ticket, take care of my car rental, take care of my hotel. And it has evolved to help me craft a lovely itinerary.
VRBO and some of the vacation hubs, Airbnb, how has that impacted your business? That advent of those companies is soaring at this point.
It really hasn't impacted us that much. There's a certain segment that's going to want to do it themselves, and they can do it themselves. Some of those people are our customers, and it's okay. But if they have a problem, they're on their own.
Well, and that is the difference. It's sort of like that DIY, the do-it-yourself, versus having you to really handle the logistics and make sure that there's a service level that is up here. And I think that's always kind of reassuring and nice for the traveler to know that you're there every step of the way, should there be an issue or a problem. And speaking of that, with cancellations and all of the things that were happening, how did you navigate the airline situations post-COVID and with some of the strikes and things of that nature? How were you able to pivot and really handle the customer juggling of flights and all kinds of logistics?
It was a mess. You have to be well connected, have a good network. So we belong to a consortia of 202 agencies, so we have networks all over. And so we have the inside scoop with all the airlines. We've got VIP lines with all the airlines. If there's a problem, the airlines will go to the mat for us, so we can take care of our customer. And our customer can get a hold of us 24/7. That's how it should be.
When we talk about the GDP and some of the numbers in the travel and tourism industry, tell us a little bit more about that and what that represents.
So globally, travel and tourism makes up about 10% of the total GDP globally. That's like 9 trillion. It's huge. It's huge. In the US, it's about 3%. About 1.9 trillion, something like that. Now that was 19. Now we dropped back a few the last couple of years. But they're saying by the end of next year we should be back up at those levels.
So where do you see the future of the travel and tourism industry? When you look forward now, you've been through these really difficult times in the last few years here with COVID and now coming out of COVID. How do you see the industry changing and evolving as we look forward?
It's going to be very robust. I'm so excited. I can't believe the things we have on the books for the next 2-3 years already. We had this Midwest mindset that you go someplace for sun and sand first quarter. That's all gone. People want to see the world, they want to see the whole world, and they want to stay in really nice places.
Thanks, Jani Miller.
Thank you.
So here we are talking about the travel and tourism industry, and why not talk with someone who books travel? Our travel advisor is with us today. Dianne, thanks for being with us.
Thank you.
It is so interesting to hear how you handled COVID, how you got beyond it.
There was no travel that was the same. We had people stranded halfway through, like Alaska cruise tours seemed to be the biggest one. They would start the land, they'd test positive, wouldn't make the ship. I had a client that got through the whole trip, got to Canada, tested positive. Canada said, you can't come here. Put them back on the ship and sent them back the other way.
My goodness.
We had clients.
It's so difficult.
We had clients that made it to Canada and they put them up at a hotel at the airport. So every case was unique.
Now we talk about trends in the travel and tourism industry. What are some of the current trends that you're seeing, particularly as we come out of the pandemic and sort of post-pandemic looking forward?
Because people haven't been able to travel for almost 2 years, all that money that they've had building up in their vacation funds, they are spending it and they are ready to spend it and more. I didn't treat myself for 2 years. And I'm gonna upgrade my room, I'm gonna extend my stay, I'm gonna fly first class. I have never treated myself to that. So we're seeing a lot more increased budgets, destinations that people thought they'd never be able to afford to go to.
They're just saying yes.
They're just saying yes,
Yes,
let's
love
go.
it. And big groups, small groups, individual
Everything.
travelers, all of the above.
Yeah. Corporate incentives, they want to be face to face, like they want to see people again.
Yes,
They
it's
just
been
want
so
to
long.
go. Yeah, 2 years, over 2 years.
We talked a little bit earlier about some of the disruptors in the travel industry, one of which could be, in your case, as you're booking things, hurricanes,
Yes.
or maybe earthquakes in other parts of the world. How does that impact the bookings with clients?
All those people need to be rebooked and there's not a lot of space. So that's been a huge challenge. I had some people that were scheduled to go to Russia and the Ukraine. Obviously those people had to be reaccommodated to a Europe destination that was outside of their norm. Vietnam, Cambodia was another one. People were scheduled to go and they had to be rebooked to a different destination as well.
Dianne, thank you so much for being with us.
You're welcome, thank you.